I'm Winifred Lewis. I'm a professor of psychology at the University of Queensland. At the AVERT Symposium, our research group is presenting on support for democracy and political violence, as well as support for radical forms of action, including law-breaking and violence across different causes in Queensland. I've come once before and I was really happy to come again. Like last year, I found it to be super interesting, welcoming, inclusive, and diverse. Compared to other conferences, it's much more interdisciplinary and also brings in a range of presenters and audience members from government as well as in the scholarly community from all different backgrounds, psychology, politics, criminology, even literature. People looking at forms of radical literatures that are pitched at young people, for example. It's really fascinating stuff here. It's really an advantage to have a diverse audience and set of speakers because you're exposed to research that you wouldn't normally read about or hear about and reactions that you wouldn't have thought of. So it's not just the presenters, it's the questions that people ask that illuminate the gaps and also the points of misunderstanding where there's a crosstalk between disciplines where people are taking things for granted that actually are really important unanswered questions. So for me, it's very generative. I always come away with ideas for new directions of research, but also an understanding of what practitioners wish we would be studying to look at social cohesion, democracy, and violence in Australia. And that's really fascinating. You can't get it anywhere else. Well, I think for me, over the last couple of years, I've been most struck by the intentional outreach to children, which is something that doesn't really factor into my research because I normally start studying people once they've turned 18. But when you think about the kinds of narratives that people can be exposed to that support violence while they're still children, it changes the way you understand the discourses and social media of youth. It's not surprising that we're seeing some of the new models of extremism come through youth communities when we think about people who are intentionally creating content in games and literature to support violence in children's communities. That just blew my mind.